He's developing, but I'm after this piece anyway. It's possible that Marcin is obsessed with knights. Maybe he's going to trade my other knight if I play knight e8 or knight d7. He's going to take it with his bishop, which would be somewhat consistent, I think, with the needs of the position. Now, this is a good question. I mean, should I go to e8 or d7? e8 is much more passive than d7. It would seem like d7, although it blocks my bishop, puts pressure on the e5 pawn. Right now, I'm threatening knight takes e5, which is not a joke. He could play h4, or he could take my knight on d7 with the bishop. You get these players sometimes who love knights, like Chigorin. But Chigorin was pretty objective, but we use him as an example of, you know, this player who loved positions, closed positions, with a lot of knight outposts and whatnot. But there are some players who are kind of obsessed to the point of always trading bishops for knights, trying to play every single game with a pair of knights. And, you know, it's hard. I mean, this position is somewhat closed. It's, as I said, it's similar to a Fianchetto Grunfeld, felt like to me a little bit. I'm playing like the white side of a Fianchetto Grunfeld. And this structure would be normal for that. So now what for white? Does he want to retreat his knight back to f3 or play h4? H4 looks like the consistent move. Yeah. I guess Saeed would sack a piece here, but I don't really think I have enough compensation. f6 doesn't quite work yet. We could prepare it. If he does play h5, I have knight takes e5. So it's not clear that it's a big deal. h5, knight takes e5. However, if I do that variation, you know, he'll have some knight takes h7 in between, intermezzo. Queen b6 looks quite interesting here. I mean, he feels like he's leaving himself pretty open. So if I trade queens, his attack is pretty much over. And the queen b6 develops a piece. It threatens queen e3 check. It stops him. Well, he's not going to castle kingside. And it looks like I might get his queen off the light diagonal. He might play queen e2. Play queen f3 instead. So this is a good move as well. He's, by doing this queen f3, he's protecting his knight on c3. And now d4. d4 is a little scary, but it forces him to trade bishop takes d7, bishop takes d7. His attack looks a little slow, honestly, and I can grab the pawn on b2. I don't see him mating me quite fast enough here. So bishop takes d7, bishop takes d7. Actually, I can take on c3 too. Bishop takes d7, d takes c3, maybe even stronger. Yeah, that's pretty strong. If I take on c3, I'm threatening to take on b2. He's in trouble. Yeah, I think that refutes it, so I guess white is probably lost. Castle's queenside, take on c3 is even worse for white. So I think he has to sack a piece. I played a game with Marcin yesterday, I think. Did I not? If you guys were, any of you guys in the stream, I think it was a white game. Marcin was white, and it was another game where he was down a piece, but he almost tried to mate me. It was the same Fianchetto structure, where he was trying to mate me down a piece. Welcome to the stream, Redstone 2004. I don't know half the thing you said. Don't you think memorizing positions and the best move is good for amateur players? Don't block your bishops. Okay, so you guys are having a discussion over there. D takes c3. Yeah, Marcin just sort of maybe trying to set up h5. I don't know. Takes on d7. Now I have rook d8. among other things. Black can play rook d8. But I think I should have a mate here. Bishop takes, queen takes, queen e3 check, king f1, rook d8. Unfortunately, let's see. Maybe rook d8 for me. I'm just making sure he doesn't have any crazy piece sacrifices. Knight takes f7 or whatnot. That's not going to work. I mean, so I don't know. I think that bishop takes d7 with rook d8 was also strong for black. But this winning a piece looks a little clearer to me. But maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe you should try some crazy move like queen h3. But queen h3, rook takes d7, h5, rook d2, and you know he's already like tied down to getting, you know, having to defend the mate on f2. So there's just no way that he's gonna come close in this game. Espresso forever. Hey, Espresso. I don't know if you've played on Lichess. I think you were watching me over on ICC. I'm gonna try to like do both, but we had a good audience here on Lichess. The only downside, it's a little harder to play strong players on Lichess, but there are some strong players, and I think we're going to alternate. Maybe tomorrow we'll go over to ICC and try to play some games over there. But maybe a few days a week I'll play here and a few days over there. If anyone has any suggestions for other places to play, let me know. I would consider it. Let's think about this taking on b2 first. Taking rooks, you know, promoting to a queen is usually helpful. So he plays rook d1. I don't like that move, because I can promote now, or take on d7 and then promote. So Marcin is toast here. He's inspired, but I have too many queens. And he can't even take the queen because he'll lose his other rook. I mean, he can take it, but it's not his best game. The other day he put up a spirited resistance down a piece in one game where I was very close to falling for some traps, getting mated. And I think it was the same guy. So he's pretty tricky. He doesn't give up. He could take on c8, I guess, but it's too slow. Uh, 5-0 is fine. I don't know if you guys are talking to me. But I'm not going to play faster. That would be the fastest time control I'm going to play on the stream. Do you have another challenge? Redstone? Yeah. Yeah, Redstone, that's cool. 5 minutes with no increment would be the fastest I'll play. I would prefer a small increment, although normally I wouldn't. Normally when I play Blitz, I like to play sudden death. So, but I'm going to keep the 2 queens on the board. How often do you get to play with 2 queens on the board? I'm not sure if this is even the best move. It's kind of hard to play with 2 queens. He can take on c8, but I have a really strong move. Rook takes d3. If knight takes knight takes c8, rook takes d3. He can't take my queen on b6 because he gets mated with queen e4 check, king f1, rook takes d1. I guess it's mate in like 5 or something. But that would be his only resource here. So you withdrew the challenge over there. I had the feeling that Redstone withdrew the challenge. If you want, make it like 1 or 2 second increment, if you don't mind. Not a big deal. Yeah, that's cool. Dave Tayen challenged me to 10-minute. Hey, do any of you guys understand the challenge system? Because it seems like it's sort of random. When they pop up, I can't tell whose challenge was first. It seems like sometimes the first challenge is on the bottom, and sometimes the first challenge is on the top of the list. So I'm getting to the point where I think it's just completely random order. Okay, c3. Rook takes d6 is interesting. I'm going to take this pawn. I think that's stronger, you know, to eliminate the base of the pawn chain. And still, I have mates if knight takes c8. Do I have a preference for casual or rated? Well, mostly rated. I didn't even realize that Marcin's game was casual. Because to be perfectly honest, I don't care. Whatever is good for you guys. It's really up to my opponent. It makes no difference to me. I would like to pick up some rating points while I'm, you know, playing, so I can, I guess, get to play stronger players as we progress. But it doesn't really matter that much to me if it's casual or rated. Okay. Alright, dude. Marcin is capitulating here. I don't think he's going to be with us much longer. Well, what an interesting opening, though. I mean, I like it, you know? What a good club sort of style opening. Bishop f4, g6, bishop e5. Maybe there's a better way for black to play. You could play knight d7 right away. I wonder... And this is mate in one. You see, it's like a sort of problem, you know. I wouldn't feel right if I missed mate in one. So could black play, by the way, guys, after g6, bishop e5, should I play knight on b to d7 here? Because I don't think it's that simple. Maybe it's more accurate to play knight on b to d7. No, because he has knight takes d5, right? Knight b d7, knight takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop takes h8, and then I can try to trap his bishop or something. Nah. No, knight d7 allows that. It almost seems like he could play e4 after bishop g7. This is quite an interesting move. I'm going to have to analyze this. Alright, back to the challenges. You left us with the challenges. What happened, Redstone? You, you play a lot of, you guys are talking about cheaters. Well, I did run into one, it looks like. But I've in general been really lucky. I think that, you know, it's not good to take it too seriously, get upset about it. G4. I don't know if Dave Tayan is, I'm not sure if he's a viewer. Let us know, Dave, if you're here in the channel on Twitch, or you're just the guy who challenged me. I was working with Roman Gingiashvili for a while, and I remember that we discussed this stupid opening, G4, and our decision was that more or less black should try to find a setup where you play like quickly knight e7 and knight g6 to try to aim at h4 with a knight. I think that's a good plan against this Grob opening or whatever it is. Having said that, I should play, you know, e5 on move 1. c5 is not really the optimal way of taking advantage of this. So I know there are lines like g4, d5, and c4 for white. Now c3, I'm going to play d5, and the c4 idea sort of lost its luster. I also play weird openings sometimes in Blitz, even in tournament games. If any of you have ever seen me play knight h6 on move 1 with black, I like to do that against e4. I have a funny opening I play: e4, knight h6, d4, d5, e takes d, knight f5. It's not sound, but it's like just